The following program is a production of WMFE, Orlando, Melbourne, Daytona Beach.
Coming up on The Arts Connection, we're making the band with a talented youth brass band.
Well, for me, it's pretty much giving back, like the movie You Pay Forward, and really I get a joy of seeing others experience the same things that we experience in brass banding.
Plus, a group of local performers give a new meaning to the word diva. And we're going underground to catch some live entertainment. All that and more just ahead on The Arts Connection.
The Arts Connection is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to WMFE from viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to The Arts Connection, your program about all things creative here in Central Florida. I'm Secily Wilson, and this week our program is all about music, music, music. And what better place to join you from than right here at the House of Blues in downtown Disney. Now, the House of Blues here in Orlando is patterned after the original House of Blues, which opened in 1992 in Cambridge, Massachusetts, as a home for live music and an environment celebrating the African-American culture, contributions of blues, music, and folk art. Now, I know you want to know more, and you will in just a bit, but first, a Central Florida Christian rock group has taken over the music charts by storm with 3 #1 hits in only 2 years. Kristen Kenney caught up with the local celebs in their hometown of Eustis.
It was 6 years ago when Christian rock group Fireflight first took the stage here at the band shell in downtown Eustis.
This goes way back.
We were not making good music when we played here.
Today, it's a different story. As this small town band climbs to the top of the charts yet again with their sophomore album, Unbreakable.
It was like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. Kind of like a freak out moment, for real.
We all dreamed about it. I mean, at least for me, I never really thought of the actual reality of it actually happening. So to be here now is very surreal.
Now they're one of the hottest names in Christian rock, performing 200 shows a year. And on their cross-country tour, they made a quick stop here, their home, Eustis, to reflect on how it all happened.
This is about what it looked like.
Yep.
There's a sound system.
There's a lot of memories here today.
Lead singer Don Richardson and guitarists Justin Cox and Glenn Drennan once walked the halls of Eustis High School together.
Glenn never talked. He just always, like I forgot that he was in my Spanish class until he reminded me, actually, because that's how quiet he was.
And he is not.
And I'm not quiet.
I remember that he was in my Spanish class.
But it wasn't until after high school in 1999 when the band took shape.
Glenn and I were married, so obviously we were already an in. Glenn asked Justin if he wanted to start playing, and then of course Dawn, we had heard her sing at his brother's graduation service, and we're just blown away by her voice. And she also went to the church that Glenn and I went to at the time.
So what about drummer Fee Shorb? Well, he comes in a little later. So to start, it's Wendy on bass, Glenn and Justin on the guitar, and Dawn lead vocals.
They came up to me and they said, do you want to be in the band? And I was like, well, only if we're going to sing Christian songs.
Their shared faith was the inspiration for the direction their music would take.
We asked God, make these your songs. We want your message.
Their first onstage performance, just a mile down the road at First Baptist Church.
That's actually a funny story because about 10 minutes before we were supposed to go out and play, our youth pastor walks in and he goes, okay, what am I supposed to tell him? What's your name? And we're like, and we realized we had forgotten to discuss that. And we were all supposed to be thinking about things, but we hadn't talked about it at all. So we didn't have very much to go on. And I just said, well, I thought earlier this week, I thought Fireflight sounded kind of cool. And they're like, yeah, let's just go with that.
Fireflight soon became a regional name, taking the stage at venues across Central Florida and catching the attention of drummer Fee Shorb.
I was actually playing at a venue in my hometown in Ocala with my church praise band, and they were on that show. As the show ended and we were packing up and going home, I told the director of that venue, man, this band is awesome, but they just need a new drummer. And it wasn't maybe just a matter of months after God really spoke to me and told me that I was going to find a band and I was going to hook up with them and it was going to go far.
And it wasn't just the band members who thought they would go far.
These guys from the very beginning, their sound and their heart, you know, pretty much captured me.
Les Williams has been their #1 fan since their humble beginnings.
We call Les the prophet because back, I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago when we played this show in New Smyrna Beach.
Tiny little beach house. It was actually like for real a house with a stage in it.
He came up to us afterwards and was like, you guys, you're gonna do it.
And he's just smiling, this angelic smile the whole time.
And they did it. After 6 years of venue hopping, Fireflight was signed by Sony BMG's Flicker Records in 2005.
I was kind of dumbfounded in a sense, but I wasn't, you know. I knew that these guys had something.
Hey, man.
Their music has touched their fans with words of hope and inspiration.
With our first album, we really discussed a lot of, you know, dark topics and, you know, intense subjects. And we wanted to do the same with this album, but we really wanted to make a focus on bringing hope to the people who are listening. Not just that they can find healing from the hard times they're facing, but that there's like victory. And there's like a whole new life once you're able to leave behind the things that hold you back from your past.
Forget the fear, it's just a crutch that tries to hold you back and turn your dreams to dust. All you need to do is just...
Now with thousands of fans and 2 hit albums, they certainly have something. It's called rockstar status. So what's the life of a rock star like? Let's go sneak a peek. Come on, let's go.
Here we are in our beautiful RV, thanks to our fans. And this will be our episode of Cribs for Fireflight. And this right here is our living room.
Insert hip-hop music here.
Yeah. This is our dining room right here. Fee's enjoying sitting at our beautiful table, which also converts to a bed. Dun, dun, dun. And then we have our lovely kitchen. It's empty. Oh. But we've been off the road for almost a week now, so we have to clean it out when we leave so it doesn't get gross. This is where we watch the DVDs. All right, another entertainment center. And that's basically it. This is our home.
So it's time to say farewell to their hometown and hello to their new humble abode as Fireflight hits the road for yet another show.
We're from a small town, we're a bunch of nobodies, but we've just really trusted God and just really put ourselves out there, and we're fulfilling our wildest dreams.
For more information on Fireflight's schedule, simply log on to the links at our website. Well, the Orlando Gay Chorus first took the stage 18 years ago with performances that were sure to leave a lasting impression. Our Kristen Kenney caught up with the group to learn all about them.
Like any choral group, members of the Orlando Gay Chorus share a love for music. But what makes their performance unique is the little bit extra that these talented volunteers bring to the stage. They don't just stand and sing, they add what they call choralography.
For choralography, that's where the members are usually singing and moving to the music.
And for OGC's president, Stephen Rayom, it's these subtle movements that bring energy and vibrancy to each show.
The audience can get a little bored even with the best songs. I mean, you just stand up there like a bunch of penguins in our penguin drag. It's not very exciting for them. They love the music, it's very enjoyable, but when you start adding a little bit of movement, and it gives them something more to look at than just a bunch of guys and gals up on stage in tuxedos.
And just look at them go. They perform 3 times a year here at Orlando's Plaza Theater to hundreds of devoted fans. But when they take the stage, it's not just the audience that gets going.
We wouldn't have as much energy singing the songs if we didn't have the whole "Hey sister, go sister."
The choreography just puts me in my zone because, I mean, I don't feel like I'm that great of a singer, but dancing is my thing.
David and Alicia are the youngest of the bunch, but keeping up with them is 75-year-old Ed Sinnott.
We get the energy off each other. It's hard to keep up with them. I try, not too successfully all the time.
But the real challenge is keeping such a large group in sync. That's where Thornton Park resident Claudia Asbury comes in, turning 140 singers into 140 dancers. A choreographer and former dancer, Claudia joined the OGC a year and a half ago, bringing her Broadway experience with her.
I wanted to be involved in the gay community, and which I was not so much in New York because I was busy working so much. I found out about the Orlando Gay Chorus, and I thought, you know, I've been doing this for a living, working for a living doing theater, and it's time for me to have fun with it.
Claudia, because of her professional training, was able to bring out a lot more in us, and she was able to help us basically choreograph all of the movements to the music so that we could do a lot more instead of just a little bit here, a little bit there.
I looked at those who had a stronger background, like Alicia, and the ones that had a little less experience. You know, I catered it to their abilities so that they could all look as good as possible.
So for someone like yours truly, with no singing or dancing ability, where do you begin?
And they go diva by diva, one day at a time. All of those ladies, unique and sublime. See?
Wow,
and you had it.
Up. There you go.
There you go. You had it
That's
already.
Not too bad,
we'll add you to the chorus. You'll be next.
But I'll leave it to them. Though.
Oh, okay.
They're much better because I can't sing.
that is a problem.
Diva by diva, one day at a time.
Mixing chorography with a standard chorus makes them certainly unique and sublime.
I sing in the choir at my school as well. They're not as fun as the OGC.
I don't think there's a lot of groups like us anywhere, but particularly in Orlando, you know, our message, our performance is very, very unique, and you're not going to find it anywhere else.
Amazing talent, so you've got to check them out. Well, again, we're here at the House of Blues in downtown Disney, and if you've not had the opportunity to visit, then let me tell you, you are missing a cultural and musical treat. Joining me now is the marketing manager, Nicole Cazacria. And Nicole, a lot of people are not familiar with the history of the House of Blues, so fill us in a bit.
Well, the House of Blues, our founder, Isaac Tigert, was born in Jackson, Tennessee, and he was virtually weaned on the blues. He made it a lifelong goal to bring the rural South and the blues and jazz and gospel to the world. And then he created the first blues venue in Cambridge, Massachusetts in 1992. From there, in 1994, we opened New Orleans, then on to LA, then on to Chicago. We now have 12 venues throughout the country of House of Blues venues such as the one in Orlando.
And when did this one open?
This one opened in 1997.
And it's not just blues music here. There are all sorts of genres passing through.
Right, we have all genres come through the House of Blues. We have country, we had Dolly Parton, Toby Keith, rock and roll, Van Halen, Pearl Jam, pop, Britney Spears, no doubt. We definitely have a lot of different genres come through any given month.
How important is a venue like this to those types of musicians?
It's very important. The House of Blues has very intimate settings in our music hall. It allows the artists to engage with their fans. The energy in the music hall is so vibrant that it just exudes through everyone.
Well, it's certainly not just music that we have here. You have a lot of art.
Right. Collectively, the House of Blues has the largest public display of folk art in the country. It's our permanent collection. We have curators that go from all over the world and all over the country to find the folk art pieces. We have pieces from $500 to $5,000. The artwork is not for sale. However, we do carry some folk art pieces in our company store.
But it's all about music here. Music, music, music. Who do you have coming up?
We have Robin Thicke coming up this Sunday, November 16th. We have One Republic coming up Sunday, November 23rd. We have Nat and Alex Wolf on November 28th.
And you also have your gospel brunch.
Every Sunday we have the world famous gospel brunch. We have two shows, 10:30 and 1 o'clock. It's 45 minutes of all you can eat Southern inspired cuisine with 45 minutes of either local or national gospel music.
Ah, sounds great. All right. Well, Nicole, thank you for hosting us today.
Thanks so much for coming out.
Now, if you want more information on the House of Blues, simply check out the links at our website. Well, you know, there's no end to the talent to be found here in Central Florida. In fact, one young group has proved to be a very big success story. The talented youth brass band, now in its second season and sounding strong.
The concentration, the focus, the pure joy of making music together belong to this group of 30 talented teens that make up the Youth Brass Band of Central Florida.
I just like all the people.
We have fun all the time.
The energy is insane there.
You get to play really cool music.
And cool it is. They come from all over Central Florida every week to rehearse here at Tuscaloosa Middle School in Oviedo. And as the newly created youth version of the world-renowned Brass Band of Central Florida, they have a great deal to live up to.
Well, right now we're #1 in the United States. We're one of the top 25 or 26 in the world.
Dee McAfee, a founding member of the Central Florida Brass Band back in 1998, says it had always been their goal to launch a youth version.
And then Rick Perez came along about 2 years ago, and joined the band. He said, hey, I'll start it.
Well, for me, it's pretty much giving back, kind of like the movie You Pay Forward, and really I get a joy of seeing others experience the same things that we experience in brass banding.
And in the fall of 2007, auditions began that spanned across Central Florida.
We went ahead and contacted 84 different high schools in the 5-county area and talked to them about this project.
More than 120 high school students auditioned, but the competition was stiff. Only 30 would be selected for the inaugural Youth Brass Band. And it wasn't just about being a great musician.
In order for them to audition for the group, they have to have a recommendation from their musical director. So they have to be really referred for being not only an outstanding musician, but also an outstanding student.
Creating a youth band bound for success.
I see this band in another couple years being the top youth band in the United States, if not this year.
Not only are these teens an incredible group of musicians, but they are also playing instruments that are unique to brass bands.
Well, the brass band has been around for about 200 years. The instrumentation is a little bit different than your regular wind band. We use cornets instead of trumpets. We use tenor horns or alto horns instead of French horns. And then we use your standard trombones, tubas, and then percussion.
This is it's a lot more challenging. Usually in high school band, tuba parts aren't extremely difficult, but these guys these are like the top guys out of their schools, and then they come here, and then it's just kind of like all of the top guys get to meet together and me, and it's fun because they're all really good, so you don't have to like sit and wait for people to understand their parts. It's usually like everybody has it.
Now into their 5th month of rehearsal for the band, the hard work still isn't over. They're on the lookout for new sponsors and venues.
Our inaugural performance, we wanted to go ahead and set it up at the end of April, and at this point we're looking for a venue to be able to do that.
But nothing will stop this group from creating history.
It's the first time they get up there for that first concert. This will never leave them. They'll never forget this.
And from the sounds of it, they have a lot to look forward to.
1, 2.
That just goes to show Central Florida is jam-packed with opportunities to hear bands like that, as well as orchestras and choirs. But some in the know don't always head to the usual venues to hear live entertainment. Instead, they make one of their own.
It's a typical Friday night in Winter Park. But inside the home of Bruce and Sharon Hartman, it's anything but typical.
We're having a house concert with Larry Unger and Eda McAdams Summer.
It's a night out. That's also a night in. A house party turned concert series, all part of a growing underground music circuit here in Central Florida.
I think we've had about a half a dozen here over the last couple, 3 years. And it happens all over Central Florida. It actually happens all over the United States. It's a phenomenon that's not well known, but is actually pretty widespread.
Widespread and part of a great tradition. House concerts just like this one have been rocking out homes for centuries.
Back in the old days before we had televisions and YouTube and things, people would often entertain themselves with music at night. So that could be a regular basis, or like the salons that Schubert, used to have in his living room. Same kind of thing.
And while you might not get an invite to Schubert's place anytime soon, the crowds are proof that the music can bring modern communities together.
Anybody can come. We met the most interesting people from, the last time we were here, we met a woman who wrestled alligators, okay? And there's lawyers and nurses and a lot of computer programmers. There's anybody.
Well, it's surprising. I mean, there is a big cross culture of folks here, and Orlando's kept growing, and it has attracted people from all over the U.S.
The way it works is pretty simple. Host book a band and spread the word by posting details on a folk music website. And anyone's welcome, whether it's to jam along, dance, or just sit back and enjoy.
Music certainly can help build a community because some people get involved with the music or the dancing and it changes their life. They start doing that a lot and they meet people they never would have met, and those people who are not necessarily neighbors or wouldn't know each other, they gather together like events like tonight at the house concert. But the most important thing is the community that gathers out of that.
It's not only a great way of listening to music, the bands themselves say the intimate setting makes for a unique experience for musicians too.
Makes for a very nice venue. It makes for a very relaxed and comfortable place where you can come in and get to talk to people and sit and listen to some very good music and mix real well, rather than in a theater or a concert hall where you don't really get to talk to each other very much.
Tonight we're going to play everything from Celtic to old time to blues and jazz, swing, Romanian, some originals, and a few other things.
Not only is it more than just folk music, it's a celebration of folk culture.
But absolutely, we're the most welcoming, warm people in the world.
Folk culture, that's supposedly of the people, and it's more like, as opposed to classical music, everything's written down, and most folk music is passed down orally.
So, from home to home and concert to concert, songs are passed along, preserving a little piece of history in the folk tradition. But they don't do it alone. They do have the support of groups like the Central Florida Folk to help spread the word.
It's been in existence for probably 20 years in this area. We have 13 concerts a year at Lou Gardens, the last Sunday of the month. We have local artists. We have people coming from all over the country. And then we also have free concerts at Langford Park, which are sponsored 6 times a year by the City of Orlando.
You get into any one of those events, you follow the thread and your interest can take you where you want to go.
And whether your interests have you dancing, singing, playing, or just taking it all in, the Central Florida underground music scene is something to check out.
What a great idea. Well, that wraps it for us here at the House of Blues in downtown Disney. We certainly hope you have enjoyed our program. Please listen up for us on the radio. That's 90.7 FM for the Arts Connection Minute, weekdays at 9:59 a.m. And don't forget to check us out on the web. You'll find our podcast there, as well as information for the stories you've just seen. You'll also find the Arts Connection blog with lots of information about events and happenings here in Central Florida. And you can also send us your ideas there, so check us out. That's WMFE.org/arts. So again, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye. Don't forget to join us next week on the Arts Connection. You've just seen the Youth Brass Band. Next, meet the band that inspired them, the Brass Band of Central Florida.
A lot of people that come to our concerts here are more aficionados of music and not just going to a theme park and experiencing that as part of a day. So it's a lot of knowledge base that the people bring here.
Then we try to keep up with the American racket.
I do. Clogging definitely is very energetic and it gets your blood pumping, and not much else I'd rather be doing on any afternoon or weekend but move my feet and clogging around.
That and much more in the weeks ahead as we continue our all-new season of The Arts Connection.